You know, even Democrats now telling their own party it's time to move on from the last election.
Telling the voters that, oh, our opponent is offensive. When you're worrying about your damn paycheck, you're worrying about your job, you're worrying about where you're going to live, if your kids are ever going to go to school, they don't really give a crap about if the president is an insult dog. We did not offer a message to the people in Indiana or Ohio or Pennsylvania or Kentucky. What we did is we said, how offensive. Grow up. That's not reality for most of America.
That's Raymond Buckley right there. That coming from the man campaigning to be the chair of the DNC. But will Democrats listen? Here for a debate, the brothers Woodhouse. Dallas Woodhouse is the executive director of the North Carolina GOP. He's on the right side of the screen. And his brother Brad, President Americans United for Change, he's on the left. That's right. Good morning to both of you. Brad, you just heard this guy wants to be DNC chief. He says you guys blew it last time.
Well, look, Ray Buckley's a friend of mine. I've known Ray for a dozen years. But what he is saying is really an oversimplification about what happened in this last election. Look, I worked on this campaign. I know repeatedly how the Clinton campaign, how the super PAC I ran, tried to talk about the economy. We tried to talk about tuition. We tried to talk about paid and family medical leave. All the media wanted to talk about was Donald Trump. So when he says that all we focused on was those things...
So you're blaming the media for your message?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not blaming the media. I'm saying, but Steve, can you tell me what her plan was for paid family and medical leave?
No idea.
You can't tell me. And she said it in every single speech. Every speech she gave in this election, she talked about paid family and medical leave. But that wasn't what the election was focused on. This election was uniquely focused on one candidate. Primarily, it was focused on Donald Trump.
Well,
so I think it's an oversimplification to say that we didn't have an economic message. It didn't break through. That is absolutely true. But to say we didn't have one is an oversimplification of what happened in the last election.
Mr. Buckley's actually going to be on our show in the next hour. Dallas, I wouldn't say it was all about Donald Trump, because I remember there was a lot about Hillary and that bootleg server in her basement that she probably shouldn't have had, that many have said exposed national secrets and whatnot. That was a bad thing.
Yeah, that's right. I do think this kind of introspection, inward look at one's party is an important part of the recovery process. You know, Republicans did that significantly after 2012. But, of course, I think what the Democrats would find is, if they looked at it, very closely, is that their policy prescriptions are very unpopular. Brad talked about paid family medical leave. Well, if you don't have a job, that doesn't do you any good. And, the radical environmentalists, people that are against the pipeline, that are against burning of carbon, those kind of policies are not helping people get jobs in the Midwest.
Okay. Brad, the other problem for Hillary in 2016 was the fact that if she was going to complain about the economic situation in the United States of America, she'd be taking a shot at Barack Obama, and a lot of Democrats approved of him job-wise, and she needed them to show up at the polls in November, and she didn't want to, badmouth him, because that would then turn them on her.
Well, look, I think there are a lot of good things to talk about the economy. Even President Obama would acknowledge, though, that we have wages that need to increase. We have convenience for workers and families in terms of paid family and medical leave, that tuition is out of control. So there were things that you could say that would improve the economy without bagging on the previous president. I'll say this as it relates to Ray, though. If our party is only going to talk about the economy to the exclusion of standing up for Muslims when the president says he wants to ban them all from coming in the country, or standing up for women who get a raw... Come on, Steve, do I need to read you the press release that he read during the campaign? He said he wanted to ban all Muslims. I'm talking about what happened during the campaign.
There was a difference, between what he said on the campaign and what he said as president, and you know it.
He wants to ban all Muslims from 7 countries. But what I'm saying is, if Ray's suggesting that we don't stand up for those people, then I don't know what Democrats stand for if they're not standing up for women, for minorities, and so forth.
Okay. Dallas, real quick, maybe ultimately what happened was Donald Trump was better at messaging than Hillary was.
Perhaps, but I think that Mr. Trump's policies were a lot better for the country, and we're seeing him do things to to answer the anxieties of the working class, especially in the Midwest, in places like North Carolina.
You think that's why he's at 41% approval, Dallas? Because people like his policies?
I think that Mr. Trump's policies are going to get people working again. You know, Brad, they got so many people running for Democrat national chair. You should run, Brad. They got half the
This is great. You know, if one brother wants to talk to another, call each other on the phone. Really, your mom would like that. Boys, boys, boys. All right, Dallas and Brad Woodhouse, thank you very much for a spirited debate early on this Monday morning.